have just been tuned into the Streets Session with your boy Firahs and
Joe MK.
This is your boy Firahs, War FM 90.4, and I'm with the rising star, Immi Dash in the building, man. How you feeling?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Nah, I'm good, man. Just want to start with, just let us know, like, who you are as a person. If you was to, like, describe yourself in, like, 3 or 4 words, who would you say you are?
3 or 4? Oh, no. Well, my name's Immi Dash. I've already gone over the word limit. I'm an R&B singer and songwriter.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just here to share my music with you guys and give you a little bit of background to me and who I am.
No, that's dope. Yeah, because obviously born in Scotland, raised in America as well. Talk to me a little bit about that. So obviously, how did you end up going from Scotland to America?
Well, it was for my dad's work actually. So he was a biochemist, and
Nice.
I think, well, he grew up in London, but his work took him up to Scotland, and then like our whole family moved over to California, and then ended up staying there for a while, and then came back to the UK. So it's just been kind of all over the place. But
yeah, that's like being, coming from Scotland, living in America. That's to have like a lot of influence on your music as well that you create today.
I think so. I think, well, my parents had a lot of influence on like the music that I grew up listening to. So
yeah, of course, yeah.
I have influences from, lots of different artists and backgrounds. So I hope that makes me into a more kind of interesting writer in a way.
Yeah. Because obviously you live in Liverpool, am I right in saying as well at the moment?
Yeah, I'm in Liverpool right now.
So it's almost like you're basically all over the world. Like you got the little bit of Scottish, you got the bit of the American, and you got the Liverpool. And I think even when you listen to your music, obviously we're going to talk about your latest single, "Show Me" in a minute. I feel like I can hear elements of a lot of things, if that makes sense. Like you have that one of those voices that's unique to yourself, but you can also tell it comes from, a lot of different areas. Not like a typical English voice or a typical American voice, if that makes sense. It's almost like you got one of those voices that is unique to you, and you can tell you definitely came from more than different parts of the world than just like I can tell when an English person's doing R&B. I can tell when American's doing the R&B. When I was listening to "Show Me," I was like, let me just double check where she's from real quick. Like, like, you know what I mean? I had to double check myself. I was like, wait, this doesn't sound like she's from England, just England. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think like it's definitely influenced like my accent and stuff when I sing, because I don't really think about it when I'm recording or writing, because I just want it to come out naturally. But yeah, my latest single is "You Aint Good," but "Show Me" was my debut single. Okay. But I mean, they're both out, so everybody can listen to them.
Yeah, I got sent "Show Me" in it, so I'll double check "You Aint Good" as well. Yeah.
All right.
I'll tell them to send me "You Aint Good" as well, so I'll add that to the R&B play. Is it R&B song as well? Or?
Yeah. It's like contemporary R&B, so again, taken from different influences. But
yeah, I added to the playlist anyways. But yeah, I wanna talk about like you getting into music and stuff like that. Like, what made you wanna jump into music in the first place?
Well, I started piano lessons and singing lessons when I was young. And music has always been a very like big part of my life, just like listening to it in the background, like family occasions, whatever. But I got into songwriting, I think probably when I was about 15. And I'm currently studying songwriting at university.
Oh, no way. Okay.
So everything's kind of leading to that. But yeah, it's just music is my way of expressing myself and like showing emotion. So that's kind of, it was a necessity rather than something that I got into. It just it has always been that way. Yeah.
Fair. And obviously you're starting to drop a lot more music nowadays. What made you say that now was the right time to start dropping music? Because a lot of times I talk to artists, they already have 6, 7, 8, 9 songs, whatever out. You're quite fresh in the game. So what made you want to say, okay, cool, now it's a time for me to start dropping my music?
I think I feel happy with where those songs are at. I think like there's so many songs that you write that like that don't go anywhere, but they're just like part of the progress of your writing. So I think it gets to a point where you just have to be like, I'm happy with this song and I want people to hear it. Otherwise, you'll never release anything. I'm new to it, but I feel like it's going well. Just trying to get my voice out there and to be heard.
No, I generally think you should. Your voice is very good. I think you're one of those type of artists that brings something fresh to this R&B scene. I think for me personally, I hear a lot of the same stuff. And when you work in radio and you get sent music, there's not a song, there's not a lot of artists that make you go, oh snap. Like it's like as soon as I heard your voice, I was like, all right, cool, I'm doing my research. Like I need to know this. You know what I'm saying? Like, because more time, like I hear 100,000 Chris Browns, I hear 9 million thousands of Ushers, I hear, 100 Emily Sundays. Like you hear a lot of them, because what happens is when something pops, which is it's unfortunate. I wouldn't say artists do this on purpose, but you tend to just sound like the person you really inspire to be like. So what happens is the people that do music tend to almost without even trying to do it, they just sound like they're heroes. So you get a lot of Chris Brown sounding artists, and then you end up with a lot of Nicki Minaj sounding rappers, and it's not even their fault. It's just that's what they like, so they end up doing it because that's what they love, isn't it? When I heard your music, I can definitely feel the difference. When it came to music, was that something that you were searching for, trying to like stand out from the crowd?
I think when I'm writing and when I'm like working with a producer or anything like that, I try to just make it feel like me as much as possible. And like, say if I'm writing with somebody else doing a co-write and they suggest a lyric, I won't just be like, yeah, let's go for that. I'll be like, how would that sound if it was like coming from my voice? If that makes sense. So I try and keep it authentic, but I think I'm definitely like, I'm influenced by different things, but it comes out in my way, if that makes sense. So I'm glad it comes across like that, because that's ideal, really.
No, it's sick, man. I respect it and fully appreciate what you do, man. I think you should keep doing whatever you're doing is working. So yeah, just stick to it.
I'll take that.
Before we get into some of your singles, I need to talk about this boxing situation, because you know what, first of all, I beg you don't hurt me, because I'm not trying to take that out.
Of course, I would never.
But no, I see you do the boxing. I see you won your fight, I think it was back in 2019. Talk to me a bit about that, because I think it's quite interesting. Obviously, I don't know if you've seen, but there's a lot of influence in boxing going on right now. Artists are now jumping in as well. We've seen recently Swarms, a rapper, jump in, and then you got all the bouncer play dirty stuff. You being a boxer as well, is that something that you would like to do in the future, jump in on this influencing boxing thing?
Oh, I don't know about that. I've kind of always seen like my music and boxing as two separate things.
Right.
I don't like. I do boxing because it's like it's good discipline and it's good exercise and it's fun, and it's like that kind of escape place where you can go and just like fully focus on that. So that's why I enjoy it. But I don't know, maybe in future if I get back into competitions and stuff, it will be interesting, but I'd like to keep it like as separate. Do you know what I mean?
No, I think it's interesting, because I think people always talk within music, money not being as great as it used to be. Obviously now it's all about the streamings, not as much as it used to be sales. So I always see artists talking about how to make money in other ways. You got merch, you got obviously business ventures, and I think boxing is kind of interesting at the moment, because you are now seeing a lot of musicians jumping in and collecting another form of a bag. Whether they're serious about it, I don't know, but it's become another form of a bag. And I think, interestingly, when I saw that you've already done boxing, I started wondering, well, I don't see a lot of women doing it yet, but I'm sure there'll be a time where women will be coming out and joining this kind of like boxing ventures, and start fighting each other or whatever. I mean, as a musician yourself, and when people talk about the sales and the streamings, Is that something that you aren't thinking about right now, or would that be more in the future? Or does it worry you that people do? Because a lot of artists do come out and say, you know, streaming has kind of ended the sales that you used to make in terms of, you know, the money. And when it comes to music, and you got labels, and then you got managers, and you got the PR, and, you know, checks be spreading all over the gaff, and then sometimes artists ends up having the ones with the least money, but they're the talent. As a musician yourself, is that something that you're kind of thinking of at the moment in terms of the business side?
I mean, yeah, definitely you have to stay up to date with that kind of thing, and know like what Spotify should be paying you, and like all of that kind of thing, and just being aware of it. I think like a lot of it feels like it's so out of our control as artists and musicians, because it's like somebody else is making the big decisions. But I try not to make that my main focus when I'm making music. I think it's got to be more of an authentic just like expression thing. And if something good comes from that and I can financially support myself, then that's the aim. Like I would like to pay my rent. That's
of course, man. That rent's got to be paid somehow, especially in this country, bro.
Trust me.
I saw somewhere that you know, you performing live is really important to you, and I think that's very interesting, because I'm an artist as well, and I do music. I don't like performing. I'm the opposite. So I don't actually make music for people to sing along. Whenever I say that, people go, "So why do you make music?" Honestly, if you just go through, if you saw my Spotify rap, it's me. Like all I listen to is myself. I can't lie. So I kind of like just make music.
That's the best way to be. If you like it, then there you go.
Yeah, so I'm the odd one. I literally just think, oh, I like this song. Let me just make it, and then I listen to myself, kind of thing. But what I love hearing is, you know, when artists perform, like when you do perform, or, you know, people might sing along to your tracks, or, you know, just your stage presence in general when it comes to performing, how much enjoyment do you get out of that?
I really enjoy performing, but it's been a lot of progress to get to that point, I think. Like I started doing open mics when I was little, and busking and stuff like that, and I hated it. Like those nerves, like nothing really compares to that. Like it's scary, and I can see why sometimes people might not want to perform. They want to keep their music for themselves, whatever. But I think I've got to a point now where I really enjoy like the interaction between me and an audience. Like I really enjoy being in the room with people and kind of reading their reaction to my music, if that makes sense. I think it's an important part for me about like how my music is received. But yeah, and also it's fun. I find it fun now, you know, like performing with a band, and it's a chance to show off as well. So I guess that's what it is.
No, I think it's dope, and it must also feel nice as well when the audience, you can see that the audience are also feeling like your music, or even just singing along to your music. As an artist yourself, how important is it to be able to connect with an audience?
Very important. I think it shows, like, if you can show yourself as a recording artist, that's great. But if you can show yourself as a good performer as well, it's another string to your bow, isn't it? And it's a good way of connecting with people. So yeah.
No, I think that's dope. That's dope. And I want to talk a bit about the Liverpool scene. Obviously, I'm from London, so I know how the London scene is. But what's the Liverpool scene down there like? How's the music down there? And, you know, do you think you found like your place in Liverpool where you can flourish within your music?
Liverpool is very lively. There's always events going on. I go to a music uni, so I'm surrounded by like great performers and people that are putting on events and gigs and stuff like that. I don't know yet if I've found like my niche within Liverpool. I kind of feel like I'm being more drawn back to like the Stroud scene, the Gloucester scene, nearer to where I grew up. Bristol sort of area. But I love
I'm from Bristol, you know.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
When I moved from Sweden, I first lived in Bristol. I don't know if you heard of Emerson's Green, but That's the
I
area
don't
I'm
know
based in.
Bristol that well. No,
Yeah,
no.
it's near like it's like near like going towards Gloucestershire. So like
Okay.
one of my boy down there, he had like a whole horse in his garden. So I'm not like Bristol city centre. I was the only black dude. Like, you know, there was there, yeah, when you walked, like you knew I was the only black dude when everyone just knew who I was. Like, I walked down there, oh yeah, there's Sharif. I was like, I'm the only black guy here, so of course you know who I am. You know what I'm saying?
It's a bit like that. It can be a bit like that, yeah.
Yeah, but no, I think that's cool. I think the type of music you make anyway is universal. So whether you don't feel like you ever find a niche in your current area, your music will go all over anyways, because you know it's R&B. You know what I mean? It's not Liverpool only scene. So so you're good. I want to talk about R&B, and I don't know if you've seen conversation, but a lot of people have been talking about R&B being kind of dead recently. They've been saying essentially the content isn't what it used to be in the early 2000s or the 90s. So for example, nowadays people are talking about violence on R&B. So people call it R&G or R&B drill, as you hear nowadays. And I want to ask you, as an R&B artist, do you think R&B has kind of lost its meaning of, you know, it used to be about love, sex, heartbreak. That's usually what we associate R&B with. But nowadays I wouldn't say nowadays is everybody's just kind of gangstered up, but I think some of the bandom have decided that cool. I'm not gonna be Usher and Chris Brown from back in the day. I'm gonna be Meek Mills, but I'm singing. I think it's cool to have different variations of R&B, but I can understand that the older generations would say R&B has kind of died out, which is fair because they, you know, they brought up on R&B being a bit of a different sound. As an artist yourself, obviously me listening to Show Me, I can hear what your type of R&B is. I think it's you know, it's sticking to that kind of old school. It's nice. It's a vibe. I like that kind of. I like that R&B. I prefer it. But are you worried that R&B is losing itself, or are you enjoying this kind of like new vibe? Because you can also collaborate with that as well. I mean, R&B. When I hear a drill version of an R&B beat, I think it sounds kind of heavy. Is that something you're looking to like dibble and dabble in as well, or you know, are you worried R&B is losing its kind of losing its, I don't know, content, I guess?
I wouldn't say that R&B is dying. I feel like there's so many great artists out there that like that you can find that might be more of that old school vibe. I think like it's just splitting off into different things, isn't it?
Yeah,
and like people are taking influence from different genres and combining things. And I think that's the way that music is going and pop music is going. Like a lot of R&B stuff now is more pop influenced. But like then again, what is pop at the moment? Like it's not really a genre. It's just like what people love, what's the most popular, whatever. So I don't think that R&B is losing its way, or I hope it's not, because then I'd be out of a job. But yeah, I think there's gems in there, and you'll find people within the genre that are doing that more old school vibe. But
yeah. I mean, I think what I take from it is that, like, I guess what's popping right now is because hip hop is making the sounds. So R&B is there, but just because somebody did like, because drill is like doing really well, and then you hear like an R&B singer on a drill R&B type beat, I'm guessing people just are drawn to that because that's what they're hearing right now. I personally don't think R&B is dead, because if you do a research, there's hundreds, thousands.
Yeah, there's so many people. Yeah.
It's just that I think because of what's popping right now, as soon as you hear like a variation of a different genre, you're just kind of jumping on, oh yeah, why is everybody just doing this? When in reality, it's like, bro, like just go to your Googles. There's a lot of R&B out there.
You'll find it.
Yeah, you're probably on the wrong playlist, man. Start listening to the hip hop playlist. Go to the R&B playlist on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you hear it. You'll find it. But obviously, we'll talk a bit about your single "Show Me." Lovely song, by the way. I love the vocals on it. Love the instrumental on it, and I also just like the structure of the song. I think Vocally, the way that you switch up from like, you know, the verses to the choruses, I think is amazing. Yeah, let me know a little bit about the, you know, how you come up with the track Show Me.
So Show Me was written with my friend Alfred.
Okay.
We did it was actually at uni, so
Okay.
that we have like practice rooms and like studios that we can use at uni, which is really, really helpful. And I came up with the chords. He just recorded them in on his laptop really quickly. And then we went our separate ways, and he came back and he was like, I made a beat for these chords, what do you think? And then we wrote over that, and it was kind of like every session something new came out and we really liked it. Then made a demo and then recorded the full thing. So it was a very kind of like ongoing process. It wasn't just like one session bashing it all out and then like here you are. It was more of a process, but I like writing in that way because it helps you to reflect on things and think about what's worked well and think, oh, I might change this here or add this here. So yeah.
When it comes to writing, like, what zone would you have to be in when you do write? You know, you get the smoker, you get the drinker, you get the, I don't know, whatever drug you're on, dude. Or you get the, you know, I need to go outside, you know, wherever, right? What's like your zone that you like to get into when you start writing?
My zone, I don't know. I just need to be in a comfy seat. I like lighting candles, and I like having like nice lights. I feel like that really influences the mood of the room. But like, I wouldn't say that there's like a set thing that I need in order to write. Like, I could write on a train if I come up with a lyric. I can write like just like in a voice note if something pops into my head. So it depends on the song, depends on like if I'm happy, sad, whatever. But
I rate that. I just like to go to the park. I'm weird. I go to the park.
Okay.
Yeah, I go to the park, I sit there and I'll buy like, I'm weird, so I'll buy like food.
That's not weird.
I'll go chicken shop, just buy like some random meal, and I'll just sit there in the park and I'll just play a beat and then look around. And then as soon as I find like something that just, I don't know, just something. So I don't know, if I see somebody run, I just make a bar about somebody running, and then I'm like, all right, cool, yeah, that's what I'm running from. And then I just go from there, because I'm a visual person, innit? So I just need to see things. And obviously when I'm at home all the time, there's nothing new really in it. So I got to go out and just see something. So sometimes I just go to the park, or I don't know, a Shoreditch, wherever.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm weird.
I like that.
But I want to talk, we might as well talk about your other single as well, You Aint Good. That's the most recent single. So I thought we'd talk a bit more about that. You Aint Good, talk to me about that. New track. How did that single also come about?
You Aint Good is a bit more of a sort of heartfelt song for me. I wrote that one just like in my bedroom. I lit some candles. That was when I was feeling kind of moody and like sad and dramatic. I think that's the main thing.
I know what you mean. I know
very dramatic. So I wrote that, made a little demo and sent it to Charlie Carr, who's the producer of the song. And he worked his magic on it. He's a keys player, so he just spiced up the quality. It sounds super nice. And then we recorded it together, and it was kind of one of those ones where I wrote it in one session, and then we just developed like the arrangement around it and tried to make it as like interesting as possible. But yeah, that's You Aint Good.
When it comes to your single You Aint Good, how would you want the audience to like inherit the tracks or the lyrics? What do you want them to feel when they listen to that single?
I think a lot of music for me is being able to interpret it on your own. So I really pay attention to lyrics when I'm listening to music. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
But like as a lyric writer, you pay attention to that sort of thing. So I want people to think about it in their own way. But for me, it's about like having a realization in a relationship where you suddenly know that this isn't right for you. And it was kind of like, when I wrote it, it was a turnaround point in my head, thinking like, actually, I need to focus on me and leave this unhealthy stuff in the past. So yeah, that's what it means to me. But it could mean something else to someone else. It might mean like they could be thinking about a friend that let them down. It could be a family member, whatever. Somebody that's not good for you. I think that's basically what it's about.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting topic, isn't it? Because recently I feel like everybody just talks about relationships, you know, whether that's like, because obviously like in relationships nowadays, there's a lot of conversations about how men should be, how women should be. Obviously, if you're more LGBTQ, like same sex or, you know, wherever, there's always conversations about how a good relationship should be and a bad relationship should be. And I think a conversation that I enjoy having as a dude myself. So I kind of want to get your perspective on this social media, right? Because I think a lot of people have too many opinions. So if you're on Instagram and you have a partner and and you know what their type are, right? So you know their type. If they're constantly liking that type on Instagram, and then do you feel like that's kind of like disrespectful, or are you like, I mean, he's appreciating women or she's appreciating women, like, but how or appreciate the men? I don't know what way, whatever, you know their type, whatever way they go. How would you feel if your partner was liking their particular type on Instagram all the time, like you just see it?
The thing is, I personally don't think about social media that deeply. Like, if I'm paying attention to what you're liking, there's something wrong here. The vibe isn't right. Like, So that to me isn't that important. Like, I mean, I'd rather they were like faithful to me in person and
of course,
in life. Do you know what I mean? Like, I try not to think about that kind of thing. But I don't know, actually. That's a very interesting question. I haven't asked that before.
It is. I think because like back in the day, we didn't have to deal with that. Obviously, we was probably young anyways, but generally we didn't have to deal with, you know, the constant content in your face. So whether they're liking it or not because they're fantasizing about that person or not, it wasn't really a thing. But it's interesting. Or I'm always hearing that, like, oh, should your partner be liking piece of another person's Instagram? And I'm just like, as long as they're not in the DMs doing all that other stuff, I don't think it's that deep. But at the same time, you can understand what they're saying, because if you think they're just liking their type, you're probably thinking that they're feeling that person either more than the person they're with, or you're probably just wondering why you're always constantly looking at other women online. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that just reflects, if you're thinking about that kind of thing, then you must be quite insecure in your relationship, if that makes sense. That shouldn't even be a question. Do you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't even come up if it's the right. Do you know what I mean?
It's true. I mean, to be fair, listen, dating in 2022, I always say dating is dead, because everybody's trying to live up to a social media standard that it's not even legit. Not everyone, but that's just how I always see it. I just feel like nowadays, I don't know, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm going all in, but like, I remember seeing one of my boys, no names, of course, I wrote a statement of why he broke up with his girl. I was like, bro, I probably went to him, I was like, bro, this is why you shouldn't post everything about your relationship.
Oh no.
Like, some stuff, like, but it happens though, innit? Because once you like post your relationship and all the great stuff, when it's over, people are going to wonder what's happened. So people just automatically feel like they have to make a statement, but obviously you don't. But that is how it is. But listen, I want to say
people are curious though, aren't they?
Sorry?
People are curious. They always want to know the ins and outs.
That's literally how life is. But listen, man, thank you so much for coming on. Don't forget, everybody, Show Me and You Aint Good is out right now, so make sure you go grab that, check it out. All the links will be on the description below if you're on YouTube. If you guys are checking this on Apple Music, Spotify, you know, all the podcasts and platform, just check the info description. I'm linking everything there. All her socials, everything will be down there as well. You know where to go check it out. Obviously, if you're listening now on World FM on radio, I'm gonna play Show Me. And then I literally just downloaded You Aint Good right now as we was doing this. So I'll be playing both tracks back to back. So stay locked in on World FM for that one. Hope you guys enjoy those tracks. Before I let you go, is there anything you want to let people know? Anything you got coming up, whether that's a live show in Liverpool, or if you're coming down to London, anything you got going on, let them know, merch, anything. Now's the time. What have you got? What should we look out for?
All right, I appreciate that. I appreciate you playing the tracks as well. I think I would like people to check out my most recent music video on YouTube. It's a live performance video of You Aint Good, and I'm really proud of it, and I want people to see it and love it as much as I do. And yeah, other than that, just stream my music. If you want dates for upcoming shows, then you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'll keep you all updated on there. And yeah, just keep an eye out.
All her socials will be wherever you see this video. Her socials are down there somewhere. So just go click that. Make sure you follow. I'm gonna follow you now. Actually, send me the live snippet. I'll DM you now for it, and then I'll post it on the Instagram page as well for you. So people can go check it out. So yeah, if you if you want to see it, go check out the Instagram page as well, or just go follow her. Probably quicker to follow her anyways, because I ain't saying I'm gonna post it right now. But by the time hopefully you guys see this, it should be out there on my Instagram page. But go on her page first, anyways. Follow her, make sure you check all the stuff out. And then anything else you want to do with me, you can do that after you check her out. Okay. So listen, Immi Dash in the building, one of the hottest girls coming out the streets right now. She's gonna be a superstar real soon. I can't wait to get an autograph. I'm gonna have my t-shirt ready so I can sell on eBay for $1 billion. But again, thank you very much for coming through. This has been your boy Firahs, Immi Dash. This is the World Fame on the Street Sessions, and we are out.
Been tuned into the Street Session with your boy Firahs and
Joe MK.
Why is this the name of our show, bro?
Because we're the hottest in the streets.
Catch us online, on the go, and on the FM. Okay, let's go.